की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा, ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी, वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे, परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
समर्थ बनाओ,
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागो सारी दुर्बलता को राष्ट्र राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ, बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर शुभ संदेश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं, मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं, मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुराः पाणिर्मधुराः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं, मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं, मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
तरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं, मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीची मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्।
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं, मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्।
मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुराः पाणिर्मधुराः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
हरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीची मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
श्री गुरुचरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायकु फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर है सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय।
Jai Shri Krishna. In Zoom meeting, if you want to turn off the notification of Zoom chats, then click on the chats and then click on these three dots, turn off notifications, click on that, click on the mute option, and now chats notification will not disturb you. Jai Shri Krishna.
सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्
Jai Shri Krishna. With reverence, I bow at the lotus feet of Sri Hari and Param Pujya Swamiji Acharya Sri Govinda Devagiri Ji Maharaj. On behalf of Geeta Pariwar, I, Dr. Pooja Sharma, extend a heartfelt welcome to all of you in the sacred Vivechan session of Chapter 2. Before we begin, let us see few points which as a sadhak, as a viewer, you can face the issue in the Zoom. So first of all, if there is no sound, then plug in headphone or increase the volume of your phone or computer, the device. If chat box blinking continuously, then we have just seen the video in which we have seen the bell icon in the mute option. Over there, just click that bell option and the mute option will be activated. If voice is breaking or cutting, then check your internet connection. If possible, use Wi-Fi instead of mobile data. If the screen is not visible, then click on the start video in the Zoom. If screen is blurry, this happens due to the slow internet connection. Try to switch the network. If Zoom keeps continuously disconnected, then you can watch the session from YouTube, but don't miss this session. And if the Zoom suddenly close, then please rejoin again. Now after that, we will start the session. And now let us begin with the prayer which allowing us harmony, unity and a divine vibration to flow through all of us. Just close your hands. We start the prayer. वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण. Now move on to Deepa Prajwalan. दीपं ज्योतिः परब्रह्म दीपं सर्वतमपहं दीपेन साध्यते सर्वं संदर्शयति देवतं. For Deep Prajwalan, I would like to invite Sunita Vemuriji from California. She joined Geeta Pariwar in 2024 and currently she is giving seva as a trainer. Please welcome Didi.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you so much, Didi, for your Deepa Prajwalan. Now, as everybody is knowing that we have already started our Parayan, Sampurna Parayan from 15th of November to 31st of December. So kindly join this Parayan, and if you want to also do the Parayan offline at your place, then please log on to geetajayanti.com. And there are so many other performances are also there which you can register. And one more thing, if your friend, your near and dear person, if they want to join this Gita Parivar, then there is 19th of December, the new batch is going to begin. So kindly inform others to join geeta.com and register themselves. Now, the time of Vivechan. न जन्मे आत्मा न मरे कधी न कळे त्यास अक्षय विनाश देह जरी जाई आत्मा अढळ जैसा आकाश अविनाश The soul is never born, or does it never die? It is untouched by decay or destruction. Even when the body perishes, the soul remains steady and eternal, vast and unaffected like the sky. So, we will start the Vivechan for second chapter. Now it is my privilege to introduce our Adarniya Vikas Vaidya Dada, a dedicated seeker and accomplished Gita Saivak. An engineer by qualification, a PGDBM, he brings with himself a rich global exposure. Having lived in NRI for 12 years and traveled extensively across the world, based in Pune, he is also an entrepreneur and owner of the IT company. He is proficient in multiple languages like Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, Spanish. What truly distinguishes him is his deep spiritual discipline. He has been reciting 18 adhyay of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā daily from last more than 5 years. He serves as a trainer in Geeta Pariwar for level 1 to 4 and is actively involving in trainer selection and training process. He also contributes through teaching and vivechan in the Vishnu Sahasranam as a member of Geeta Pariwar Pune. He has guided many Geeta Vratis in preparing the Sringeri Pit examination, as he has himself appeared for the Geeta Kanthasthi exam when he honored with a first prize awarded by Param Pujya Jagadguru Shankaracharya Swamiji. We are truly blessed to have with him with us today. Now I request Adaraniya Vikas Dada to enlighten us with his knowledge.
वसुदेवसुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण टू ऑल वन वेलकम टू यू पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण में कोटि कोटि नमन वी आर डिस्कसिंग अध्याय सेकंड सांख्य योग लास्ट में डिस्कस अप टू श्लोक नंबर 46 वाज यावानर्थोदपानि सर्वतः संप्लुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः. Further, one of the most important shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूर्मा ते संगोस्त्वकर्मणि. You have the right only to action. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन, never to its fruits, never to the result of your karma. Let not the fruits of action be your motive. Ma karma heturbhur, and mate sangostva karmani, nor let your attachment towards inaction. So this ma word has come 3 times. Ma phaleshu kadachana, never get, you have no right towards the fruits. Ma karma heturbhur, let not the fruits of action be your motive. And mate sangostva karmani, nor let your attachment towards inaction. So this shloka is one of the most famous in entire Bhagavad Gita, as we know, because it lays the foundation of Karma Yoga, the path of selfless action, Nishkam Karma Yoga. Shri Krishna tells Arjuna that human beings are endowed with the capacity to act, to choose, to participate, and to contribute. However, what lies outside our control are the outcome of all this, of our choosing, of our participation, of our contribution, of our karma. The outcome of this is not under our control. The world around us is governed by countless variables. Other people do matter. The circumstances matter. the time, the past karmas, our past sanskar, that means nature's laws, Prakriti's laws, to attach our peace of mind to the results is like surrendering our happiness to elements which are beyond our control, which makes no sense. If we surrender to some points which are beyond our control, it definitely makes no sense. Shri Krishna does not instruct Arjuna to work without caring about excellence or sincerity. Instead, he teaches the art of maintaining inner balance while performing the duty. There is a difference between working for excellence and working for reward. Difference. The excellence arises from sincerity, from commitment and clarity of purpose. Reward arises from expectation, from anxiety and from ego. When we work for excellence, we grow. But when we work for reward, we suffer. This shloka has 4 basic essential elements. You have the right to action alone. Karmanye vadikaraste. This means human beings are designed by nature to act. कर्म का freedom सबको है. Our breath, our thoughts, our emotions, our speech, our movements, our entire existence is dynamic. Even not choosing is itself a choice. If we don't decide, we decide not to do anything, that is also a choice of our own, isn't it? So that freedom God has given to us. And Shri Krishna guides Arjuna to embrace the action as a sacred responsibility. Dharma is not fulfilled through the withdrawal, but through conscious participation. Actions in the field where the human freedom exists, the results the results belong to the nature's law. But our efforts belong to us. Our efforts definitely belong to us, but the results belong to the nature's laws, Prakriti's laws. Second part is never to the fruits of action. Ma phaleshu kadachana. This does not imply that we should ignore consequences or work carelessly. Rather, the inner dependence on results, the idea that my happiness depends on particular outcome, should get dissolved. That is the meaning. Results are naturally uncertain. You can't predict the results with certainty. To anchor the mind in them is to invite fear and worry. So, ma phaleshu kadachana. Expectations come from our ego, because ego always insists, I must control everything. Things should happen according to my wishes. Surrender comes from wisdom, which says, I will act wholeheartedly with full sincerity and leave the unfolding to a larger intelligence, to the Paramatma. Third part is ma karmaphala heturbhur. Do not become a cause for the fruit of action. This means you should not think I am the creator of the result. Results emerge from a chain of countless factors. When someone takes credit for success, the ego grows. I have done it. When someone blames themselves excessively for their failure, the ego becomes wounded. Recognizing that action is ours, but results are a blend of divine, cosmic, and social forces helps us to maintain humility and peace of mind. So do not become a cause of fruits of action. Fourth part is important. Mate sangostvo akarmani. Do not be attached to the inaction. A common misunderstanding is, if I should not desire for the results of my karma, then why should I work? Why should I work? Shri Krishna Bhagavan directly addresses this. Spiritual seekers sometimes lean towards passivity, thinking renunciation, kuch karte nahi, chhod de sab, means stopping the action. But the real renunciation is the renunciation of anxiety, not the renunciation of responsibility. Avoiding action due to fear of failure is also an attachment, isn't it? Attachment to comfort, attachment to safety, or attachment to laziness. That is why you say, I will not do anything. So God says, do not be attached to inaction also. Performing your duty does not mean you must hold on to the desires for its results. And giving up the desire of results does not mean that you should abandon the action itself. This is what Lord is clearly explaining in this shloka. While raising a child, one should not do so with the intention that in old age the child will take care of you. Do not hate your duties, do not renounce them, and do not become attached to them with longing. This is the essence of what Bhagavad Gita teaches us here in this shloka. Plant a tree, but do not expect its fruits. Do not expect fruits does not mean do not plant the tree, isn't it? So you should plant the tree, but don't expect the fruits. Nor does it mean do not ever enjoy the fruit. You can enjoy the fruits. What the Lord truly expects is that we should cut off the inner link between the action and the fruits. In this alone lies real non-doership, not abandoning the action. Now, if we take day-to-day example, whether we make chutney or grind spices in our mixer is not the mixer's question. Mixer doesn't interfere in what we decide. The mixer is only a tool, The hands that operate it are different. Therefore, the mixer does not express likes or dislikes. It does not decide, since I worked so hard, what will I receive in return? But this does not mean that human beings should also work like mixer and mechanically. Instead, the Lord wants us to understand deeply and perform our duties in sincere mind. And its results is what He desires from us. An ordinary person cannot escape performing karma. And an extraordinary person also, who is a jnani, being an instrument in the hands of God, also cannot abandon the action, cannot abandon the karma, even after attaining the knowledge. Both must act, both must perform karma. This is the divine law. Human opinions have no power to change this divine law. If every individual were granted the fruits according to their personal desires, the harmony of the universe would collapse. For example, when the dark clouds gather, the potter's wife says to God, "O Lord, let it not rain now. We have just shaped our pots, they must dry. Otherwise, we'll suffer a great loss." At the same time, the farmer pleads to the God, "The soil is ready. Only if it rains now will the crops grow, and then we'll get some money out of it." The doctor's wife, for example, wishing for a diamond necklace for her that year, she prays that her husband's medical practice should flourish, should prosper, so that she can buy the diamond necklace in this Diwali, for example. But that would mean that more and more people must fall sick. How can that be right? Then whose prayer the God will listen to? The potter's wife, the farmer, or the doctor's wife? God's task is to ensure welfare for all. If he begins to act, how impossible it would be for even God, because all the wishes are contradictory. Therefore, God always does what is best for everyone as a whole. Individuals' desires or demands have no place in that universal order. Hence, each person must continue performing their given duties with a selfless attitude. God will decide what to do. God will do whatever is right according to His wisdom. Therefore, we must act not expecting any specific results. Practical lesson for us is work with sincerity, but accept the results gracefully. Point number 2, do your duty without allowing fear or desire to dominate your mind. Point number 3, do not use spirituality as an excuse to avoid responsibility. मैं अध्यात्म कर रहा हूं, so I will not do family work. Focus on input, not on the output. Focus on input. Dedicate action to a higher purpose, not all for personal gains. Now the question is, why Shri Krishna is giving this teaching to Arjuna here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Arjuna is paralyzed because he is obsessed with outcomes. क्या होगा? Killing the loved ones, future consequences. Shri Krishna breaks this mental knot by teaching him the secret of free and fearless action. When Arjuna learns to act without mental burden, he becomes capable of performing even the most difficult duties with clarity and compassion. Essence of this shloka is Karma Yoga is acting fully yet freely. When expectations leaves, freedom begins. When duty is performed without ego, action becomes worship. Work becomes worship if you are performing without ego. Next shloka. Yogasthak kuru karmani sangam tyakva dhananjayo siddha siddho samo bhutva samatmai yoga uchyate. Foundation of Gita, samatmai yoga uchyate. God says, establish in yoga, perform your actions. Yogasthak kuru karmani. Arjuna, abandoning attachment and remaining equal in success and failure. Sangam tyakva dhananjaya siddha siddho samo bhutva. The evenness of this mind is called yoga. Samatmai yoga uchyate. This shloka complements the earlier shloka, Karmanyavadikaraste, by teaching how to act without attachment. Shri Krishna emphasizes the psychological state of the yogi, not physical posture of him, but psychological state of him. Yoga here is the art of maintaining equilibrium while performing actions. Establish in yoga, perform the actions. Yogastha kuru karmani. First charan. To be established in yoga means your mind is steady. Your intention is pure. Your ego is quiet. You're not acting out of fear or envy or restlessness or even dispersion. You're acting from a state of centeredness. Think of a surgeon performing a delicate operation. If the surgeon's hands trembles due to anxiety about the failure, who will suffer? The patient will suffer, no? He may die also. The surgeon needs calm focus. Shri Krishna is asking Arjuna to perform the surgery of war with the same steadiness of mind and hand. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Sangam tyaktva, abandoning attachment. Attachment here refers to emotional dependence, clinging to specific outcome or identities. If Arjuna fights, thinking, I must win at all cost, or I must not kill, he is bound. He is bound because he is getting attached. True freedom arises when the heart is unattached, but the hands are fully engaged. Heart should be unattached. Hand should be doing the karma, but heart should remain unattached. Attachment creates the agitation. Renunciation creates clarity of mind. Siddha siddho samo bhutva. Be equal in success and failure. This is the most difficult instruction. Siddha siddho samo bhutva. Shri Krishna does not say that success and failure are same. As we discussed last time, anybody who says success and failure are same, either he is crazy fellow or he is very arrogant. He doesn't bother about anything. We are neither. Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, remain equal-minded about the success or failure before starting the karma. Why? Because success inflates the ego and failure injures the ego. In both cases, the mind loses stability, and yogi should never lose the mind stability. But when one's inner state remains steady in success or failure, regardless of the outer fluctuations, action becomes efficient, calm, and powerful. This is called samatva, mental balance. The evenness of mind is called yoga. Samatva yoga uchyate. Yoga is not action or inaction. It is how to act. Yoga is not achievement. It is alignment. Yoga is not external. Yoga is internal mastery. When one can maintain balance in praise and criticism, profit and loss, joy and sorrow, then one is truly yogi. Practical lesson for us: respond, do not react. Response comes after we use our discriminatory power, our viveka buddhi. Reaction comes abruptly, without a serious thought. Do not let emotions hijack your performance. Use equanimity as your strength in stressful situations. Focus on excellence, not on the ego gratification. Let divine intelligence guide outcomes. Leave it to him. Leave it to the divine intelligence. Why does Sri Krishna teach this again on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to Arjuna? Arjuna is devastated, confused, and emotionally overwhelmed. Sri Krishna needs him to understand, to rise from paralysis of wisdom. Equanimity is the antidote to emotional turbulence. When you are emotionally totally disturbed, equanimity is your antidote. Without equanimity, the duty becomes chaos. With equanimity, the duty becomes yoga, and that is what we are learning. So yoga means steady mind plus sincere action plus inner freedom. When mind is equal in both rise and fall, then action becomes worship and the life becomes peaceful. So God says, be steadfast in yoga, Arjuna. Perform your duty with equilibrium, abandoning attachment to success and failure. Such evenness of mind is called yoga. A modern anecdote for this sloka: Riya Sharma, a 32-year-old entrepreneur in Pune, in my city, founded a small artificial intelligence-based mental well-being startup. She worked day and night, motivated not only by passion, but also by the hope of getting big round of funding for her project. Her mind was constantly swinging between, what if investors like it? What if they don't like it? If they reject my idea of this project? If this fails, I will be nobody. Though she often read spiritual books, she had never applied them in her real life, as many of us do. We read Geeta but never try to implement in our life. This does happen. In early 2025, that means this year, Riya was invited to present her product to a major venture capitalist firm, people who invest venture capital. Her term was short. I mean, she was given a specific time slot. Her team was excited. Her parents prayed for her success. Her friends said, this is the moment that will decide our future. That night, Riya could not sleep. Her entire identity felt tied to the result of next day's presentation. The day of meeting arrived. Everything went wrong. Oh my God. The internet dropped for 2 minutes during her live demo. The lead investors seemed distracted. Her pitch exceeded the allotted time. She forgot one important metric during presentation. When she walked out of the office, her heart was heavy. She knew the result beforehand, that she is going to fail. Investors aren't getting impressed. Her inner voice whispered, you have failed. You have ruined your own chances. Did you work for all this? The slok that changed the moment. This shloka, Yogastha Kurkarmani Sangha Tattva Dhananjaya Siddha Siddha Samo Bhutva Samatva Yogo Uchyate. Riya was a Gita reader. She remembered this slok. It was written on her wall also. Below it was written, do your work with balance. Do not be owned by the success or failure. Samatva Yogo Uchyate. She read it again, and something shifted within her. She suddenly asked herself, why am I getting one meeting define my worth? If one meeting fails, am I totally ruined or what? My job was to do my best, which I did. I cannot control the outcome. She took a deep breath, and for the first time in years, she felt very light in her mind. And then the unexpected twist happened. A week later, that venture capitalistic firm, they called back Riya. To her shock, they said, we did not focus on the glitches. that were there in their presentation, but we saw the potential in your idea. Basic idea is good. We like your idea. We want to proceed to the next stage. Riya smiled, not with excitement, but with equanimity. She had learned something very priceless. Her peace did not come because the news were good. It came because she was finally free from compulsive need for a good outcome. So this is the way of living she learned. From that day, Riya changed her approach. She still prepared sincerely. She still worked very hard. She still aimed very high, but she stopped letting outcomes decide her happiness. Whenever her team panicked about results, she would say, "Let us focus on our efforts. The results are not in our hands. Balanced minds build better products." Her team saw that she was getting calmer, clearer, and more creative. Ironically, this mindset made the startup perform better and better. What is the moral of this story? The success and failure come faster than ever, but peace comes only from balance of mind. When your happiness depends only on the outcome, life feels like a roller coaster. Equanimity is not indifference. It is freedom from emotional slavery to the results. True yoga is staying steady whether things go perfectly or they go terribly wrong. Do your duty with sincerity, but do not let the fruits bind you. So this is the practical example that we can live and we can implement this shloka in our day-to-day life. Next shloka. Durena ihavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya Chit buddhau sharanan vichya kripana phalahetavaha. Action driven by desire for results is far inferior to the action guided by wisdom. Durena ihavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Seek refuge in the intelligence. Buddhau sharanan vichya. Intelligence of equanimity. Raged are those kripana who work only for the fruits. Kripana phalahetavaha. So after teaching Arjuna about the action without attachment, Shri Krishna Bhagavan now warns him against the dangers of result-driven action. He tells Arjuna that action motivated by craving for inferior, unstable, and spiritually weakening. If you are motivated by craving, then your action becomes all this. Dhurane Yavan karma, desire-driven action is inferior. What makes such action inferior? Because it creates stress. It binds us emotionally. It enslaves us to the circumstances. It makes us dependent on success for self-worth. A person acting for reward is like a merchant who trades not for joy but out of inner emptiness. Wisdom-guided action is superior. Buddhi Yoga Dhananjaya. What is this wisdom God is talking about? This Buddhi Yoga. It is Buddhi Yoga, the union of clarity, understanding, and equanimity. Such action flows from responsibility, from inner calm, from higher purpose, from non-attachment, and from self-awareness. Wisdom purifies the action. Craving for the result corrupts the action. God says, take refuge in the intelligence of equanimity. Buddha Sharman Vichya. This Buddhi is that intelligence of equanimity. Refuge means trust, stability, and grounding. Shri Krishna tells Arjuna that the real shelter is not outcome, but a trained mind. Mind grounded in equanimity cannot be shaken by external events. Victory or defeat may come and go, but inner balance remains constant if we follow this principle in life. Such a mind is powerful, efficient, and always creative. God says, Kripana Phala Hetavaha. Raged are those who work only for results. They are Kripana. This is a very strong statement. Why does Sri Krishna Bhagavan use such harsh language? Kripana Phalahitava. Because the result obsessed people, they never experience the peace of mind. They are always anxious. They become arrogant when they are successful and become bitter when they get defeat. They lose their moral compass and become slaves to their desires. Shri Krishna wants Arjuna to rise above the psychological dependency on the results of karma. Practical lesson for us is, do not let desire dedicate your life. Use intellect, not impulse. Use intellect, not impulse, to guide your choices. Anchor your mind in equanimity before taking action. As we discussed many times, this samatma yoga uchyate, and considering sukha dukkha samaya, is your mental frame you create before you take the action. So anchor your mind in equanimity before you start the karma. Freedom is inner. Bondage begins with craving for the results. Let the purpose be your compass, not the reward. Essence for us is, action performed with wisdom, it liberates us. Action performed with craving, it puts us under bondage. Choose Buddhi Yoga. God says, choose Buddhi Yoga, Samatva Yoga, leave craving behind. Craving is Kripana Phalahitava. Buddhi Yoga is far better. Any day. Next sloka. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmad yoga yujyasva yoga karma sukavshalam. One endowed with the wisdom frees himself from good and evil work, karmas. Sukrita dushkrite. In this life. Iha. Therefore, devote yourself to yoga. Yoga is the skillfulness in action. Karma sukavshalam. Yoga karma sukavshalam. So this sloka reveals a very revolutionary spiritual concept. A person who performs action with Buddhi Yoga, that means Samatva Buddhi, a balanced, non-attached mind, rises above the binding effects of karma. Normally, every action produces either merit, that means good karma, or demerit, bad karma. Both kinds bind the soul to the cycle of cause and effect, to the cycle of birth and death. Even good karmas create attachment and future rebirth. We learn this in 14th Adhyaya also. Even Sattvic karma also puts under bondage. But Shri Krishna reveals a path beyond this entire karmic mechanism. The path of wisdom field action, which jahatiha ube sukrita dushkrite. One endowed with wisdom frees himself from good and evil work, both, karma both. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ube sukrita dushkrite. Ube means both. Sukrit means punya karma, dushkrit means papa karma. One endowed with wisdom frees himself from both sukrit and dushkrit. How is this possible? Because attachment, not action, creates the bondage. Action does not create bondage. The attachment to the action creates bondage. Attachment to the result of karma creates bondage. Two people can do the same action. One with ego, he gets bondage with his karma. One with selflessness, he gains freedom from his karma. For example, a doctor performing a surgery, he might think, I hope people praise me, I get a lot of money. This is attachment to the karma and karma phala as well. This puts him under bondage. But the same doctor, he says, this is my dharma, I have got education for this purpose only, my patient should be well. Then this creates freedom for him. So same karma depends how you think about performing the karma, whether it becomes a nishkam karma or a sakam karma, puts you under bondage or puts you under on the path of liberation. Arjuna is told that if he fights the war with ego or hatred or fear or desire for victory, he will accumulate karma. Then you will get bondage. But if he fights with surrender, with clarity and with selflessness, he rises above the karma entirely. Then the same karma becomes a nishkam karma. Thus Shri Krishna Bhagavan teaches the karma transcending lifestyle for us. Therefore, devote yourself to karma, to yoga. Tasmad yoga yujyasa. Yoga here means equanimity plus right understanding plus pure intention. It does not mean withdrawal from action, but refinement of action. Shri Krishna Bhagavan repeatedly discourages escapism in Geeta. He says, don't give up, don't abandon the karma. Freedom is not in renouncing the work, the karma, but renouncing the inner poison of attachment of karma and karma phala. A person practicing karma yogas, he stays in society, he performs his duties, he handles his responsibilities, but with a silent inner wisdom that protects him from emotional turbulence. God therefore says, Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. Yoga is skillfulness in our action. This is one of the most elegant definitions of yoga in all the scriptures of Adhyatma. Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. What skill Shri Krishna Bhagavan is talking about in karma? The skill of remaining inwardly calm while outwardly busy. Hands continue to do the work, karma, but inwardly you are calm. This is Yoga Karma Kaushalam. Skill of choosing wisely, not impulsively, is Yoga Karma Kaushalam. The skill of acting without ego or without fear is Yoga Karma Kaushalam. The skill of adapting to change without losing balance is Yoga Karma Kaushalam. The skill of doing duty without attachment is Kaushal, is that skillfulness. The skill of being dynamic yet peaceful is Yoga Karma Kaushalam. People may draw different meaning, Yoga Karma Kaushalam. That means if you work skillfully, then that is yoga. This is absurd. Because a thief can do his karma very skillfully without getting caught. That is becoming yogi. The meaning is Yoga Karma Kaushalam. You do karma with the equanimity of mind. That is the skillfulness of performing karma. That is the karma yoga. This spiritual intelligence is applied to life also. Practical meaning for us is you can be a manager, you can be a teacher, you can be a parent, you can be a farmer, you can be a doctor, you can be an artist. Still, you can be a yogi. If you follow this principle in life. When your mind is steady while doing your duty, you are practicing yoga. Excellence arises when mental noise is absent, and karma binds only when you cling to the fruits. So the essence of this shloka is every action becomes sacred when done with balance, with equanimity of mind, and every action becomes bondage when done with attachment. Yoga Kaushalam, what is Yoga Kaushalam? Karma done with yoga of equanimity is the skill of doing karma. That is the skill of doing karma. Next shloka. Karmajam buddhiyukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vidirmukta padanga chantana mayam. The wise manishina endowed with equanimity abandon the fruits that arise from action. Karmajam buddhiyukta hi phalam tyaktva manishina. Freedom or freed from bondage of birth, they attain the state beyond all sufferings. Janma vinirmukta padangachyanta namayam. So Shri Krishna Bhagavan now explains the ultimate spiritual consequence of practicing karma yoga. Liberation from cycle of birth and death. Janma vinirmukta. This is one of the deepest goals of Bhagavad Gita. Freedom from the cycle of birth and death. Freedom from the involuntary birth, inner suffering, and from the existential bondage. That is the ultimate goal of our learning Bhagavad Gita. So, Karmajam Buddhiyukta hi, the wise abandon the fruits of action. Karmajam Buddhiyukta hi, Valam Tyakta Manishina. Shri Krishna Bhagavan speaks of Manishina. Manishina is the truly wise people. Wisdom is not intellectual ability. A lot of people are intellectually very able, but wisdom means freedom from craving, freedom from fear, freedom from ego, freedom from the clarity of purpose and the inner stability. Such people, they still act, but their actions are not motivated by selfish desires. They act naturally gracefully and with responsibility. Actions flows through them, not from a tense ego of them. Letting go of fruits does not mean rejecting the success. It means not clinging to the success. They do not reject the ambition. They reject the dependence on ambition. Freedom from bondage of birth. The chain works like this. The desire. Desire takes place. Desire. Then next is action to fulfill the desire. That creates sakam karma. Sakam karma results in rebirth. Rebirth results in suffering. But when the desire itself is dropped, the first in the chain, desire to action, action to sakam karma to rebirth, rebirth to suffering, when the desire itself is dropped, the karma becomes neutral. And further rebirth is not demanded by the soul also. Such a person does not carry emotional residue in the next life because he has no sakam in his karma. Shri Bhagavan is describing the mechanism of liberation. Surrender breaks the karmic chain. Surrender the desires. That is why the sun says, remain calm. They remain calm. We will see at Puja Swamiji. Remain calm. They have no inner burden then. Further, God says, they attain the state beyond suffering. Padam gacchanta namayam. What is this state? It is not a physical place. It is a state of consciousness. In this state, the desire cannot burn you. The fear cannot freeze you. The pleasure cannot intoxicate you. The pain cannot break you. The ego cannot mislead you. And the karma cannot bind you. That is that Padangachandra Ramayam. It is a state of like a lotus, rooted in water, yet untouched by it. Śrīmad Bhagavan calls it Anamaya, free from disease. Amaya is disease, Anamaya is free from disease. Both physical disease and mental disease. This is the true definition of inner health, when we become Anamaya. Modern application of this shloka will be, even today, a person who works sincerely but is inwardly free experiences a different kind of life. Stress reduces in him, creativity increases in him, emotional resilience, it grows in him, satisfaction deepens in him, relationships, they become healthier, and decisions become clearer for him. Such a person, he lives with internal success, not merely external success. And internal success is always more important than the external success. Essence for us is, freedom arises not from escaping the life, but from engaging without attachment. With the heart, when the heart stops clinging to the results of karma, the soul becomes free. If you want to make your soul free, stop your heart from clinging to the efforts, to the results of your karma. Next shloka. Yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatidarishyati tada gantas nirvedam shrotavasya shrutasya cha. When your intellect crosses beyond the dense forest of delusion, yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatidarishyati, then you will attain indifference to what has been heard and what is yet to be heard. Tada gantas nirvedam shrotavasya shrutasya cha. Bhagavan now describes the transformation that occurs within a seeker who practices discipline, wisdom, and non-attachment. The mind evolves from, from confusion to clarity. So when your intellect crosses beyond the dense forest of delusion, then you will attain indifference of what has been heard and what is yet to be heard. Shri Bhagavan now describes the transformation that occurs within a seeker who practices discipline, wisdom, and non-attachment. The mind evolves from confusion to clarity. from emotional turbulence to spiritual maturity. When your intellect crosses the dense forest of delusion, yada te mohakalilam buddhirvetidarishyati. Shri Krishna Bhagavan compares delusion moha to a forest, dark, confusing, full of illusions and difficult to escape. What is this delusion? Misidentifying body as the self, mistaking temporary pleasures for permanent happiness, thinking attachments are love, thinking success is identity, believing ego is the real I, getting lost in fear, in worry, and in desire. This is all that Mohakalilam God is telling us. Arjuna's crisis is exactly this. He is confused about his duty because emotional fog has covered his intellect. Delusion becomes the decision making, but if you have the wisdom, then wisdom strengthens your decision making process. The intellect becomes clear when desires are quiet, attachments are loosened, fear dissolves, and the mind becomes balanced. At that moment, the fog lifts up and inner clarity, it starts appearing. God says, Tadagantas nirvidam shrutam visvashrutasya. Then you will attain indifference to what has been heard and what is yet to be heard. We have already heard many things, and many things we have yet to hear also. This means you will no longer be obsessed with the scriptural debates. You will not be swayed by the promises of heaven. You will not chase after rituals or after rewards. You will not be confused by philosophical arguments. Arjuna was overwhelmed because he was pulled in many directions. Family dharma, warrior dharma, spiritual dharma, fear of sin, emotional pain, and doubts about the outcome. When wisdom arises, all these conflicting pressures, they fall silent. It does not mean Shri Krishna discourages scriptures. It discourages the dependence on external authority when the internal light is awakening. A truly wise person no longer depends on hearsay. They depend on direct experience, clarity arising from within them. The modern psychological understanding of this shloka will be, when the intellect becomes strong, a person stops overthinking. He stops relying on others' opinions. He becomes internally anchored. He stops seeking validation from others. He develops moral courage. And he sees life with maturity. This is the inner state Shri Krishna Bhagavan wants Arjuna to reach before picking up the bow again. Mentally become strong, then only lift your bow. Essence for us is, when confusion ends, wisdom awakens. When wisdom awakens, dependence ends. And when dependence ends, the freedom of karma begins. Next shloka. Shudhi pradipannate yada sthasiti nishala samadhavajala buddhis tada yogam avapsasi. When your intellect is no longer confused by conflicting teachings and becomes firmly established in the self, steady and unmoving in meditation, then you will attain yoga. Shudhi pradipannate yada sthasiti nishala samadhavajala buddhis tada yogam avapsasi. Then you will attain yoga. This shloka continues Shri Krishna Bhagavan's explanation of what happens when a seeker rises above confusion. In earlier shloka, God had said Arjuna would no longer be disturbed by the conflicting spiritual opinions. That we heard. Now Shri Krishna Bhagavan elaborates that true yoga is achieved when the intellect becomes immovably steady. When your intellect is no longer confused by contradicting teachings. The spiritual world is vast, filled with doctrines, filled with rituals, with philosophies, with belief systems, with traditions, and with many interpretations. The Vedas themselves contain Karma Kanda, the rituals, Upasana Kanda, the worship, and the Jnana Kanda, the knowledge. These often appear contradictory to an untainted mind. Arjuna was overwhelmed by competing thoughts. Should I fight? Should I renounce? Is compassion to family more important than duty? Will fighting cause sin? Are rituals enough? Is knowledge superior? This confusion is called Shruti Pratipanna. Because different doctrines give importance to different things at different places, depending on the context. The bewilderment caused by the diverse voices of scripture and society is called Shruti Pratipanna. A mind driven by external opinions never settles. It jumps from one ideology to another ideology, chasing the next answer. Shri Krishna says that clarity arises not from more information, but from inner awakening. When your intellect becomes steady and unmoving, this is the hallmark of spiritual maturity. When God says, Sadhava samadhava chala buddhis tatha yogam apsasi. So when your intellect becomes steady and unmoving, this is what God says, the end of inner wavering becomes. The end comes of the inner wavering. The intellect becomes steady when the desires stop agitating the mind. Fear no longer blocks your clarity. Ego no longer seeks validation from others. Emotions no longer blur your judgment. And conflicting advices stop overwhelming you. A steady intellect is like a calm lake, clear, still, reflecting truth without distortion. Such a person is not rigid, but he is rooted well. Establishes samadhi. Samadhavachala buddhis. Here samadhi does not only refer to the deep meditation, but to the absorption of intellect in the self. This means the mind is anchored, not going here and there. It is well anchored. The ego is softened, not very hard. Ego is softened. The emotions are harmonized. The awareness becomes inward pointing, not outward, inward pointing. The intellect sees clarity, what is real and what is unreal. Samadhi is not trance. It is a perfect mental balance and inner silence. That is Samadhi. Then you will attain yoga. Then God says, then you will attain yoga. Tada yogam apsasi. Yoga, according to Shri Krishna Bhagavan, is not physical posture or a ritual. It is the union with wisdom, union with inner stability. A person established in this yoga, he acts clearly, loves without attachment, loves but without attachment, works without anxiety, decides without confusion, lives without fear, and surrenders without weakness. This is the transformation Shri Krishna Bhagavan wants in Arjuna before he starts the fight. Modern relevance for us, even today, people live in confusion because too many opinions from too many people. We get confused. Yes. Too much information. Yes. Thanks to internet, we have so much of information that we get confused. Too many expectations. Everybody around us expects something from us. Many expectations. Too many comparisons. We ourselves keep comparing ourselves with many people. And too much emotional noise. Shri Krishna Bhagavan, his teaching is timeless. Clarity comes not from accumulating thoughts, but from quietening them. Thoughts will come. You have to quieten your thoughts. Then you can have clarity of thoughts. When the intellect becomes still, then the life becomes simple. When the intellect is under turbulence, how can the life become simple? It becomes more confusion, more stressful. Essence of this shloka for us is, when your inner clarity becomes stronger, than external noise, you can attain true yoga. So you have to discard the external noise and focus on your inner creativity to become a yogi in your life. Next loka. Arjuna Vacha Siddhapradyasya ka bhasha samadhistasya kesho siddhi kim pravasheta kimasita brijeta kim. Keshava, Arjuna is asking now, Keshava, what are the characteristics of a person whose wisdom is steady and establishes samadhi? How does such a wise person speak? How does he sit? How does he behave? And how does he walk? This shloka is one of the most important turning points of Bhagavad Gita. Vasha. Because for the first time, Arjuna stops asking about war, sorrow, sin, duty. All that subject he has stopped. Now he is asking a pure spiritual question. The first spiritual question Arjuna is asking in the Bhagavad Gita. A question that arises only from deep yearning to grow. He asks Sri Krishna Bhagavan, what does an enlightened person look like? This is nothing to do with war. Arjuna's spiritual maturity. Earlier, Arjuna was emotional, confused, and overwhelmed. Now his mind has come down. And sincere question emerges from him, a question that has echoed for many centuries. How does a realized person live? Arjuna is no longer seeking justification for his indecision. He wants to know how enlightenment manifests in real life. This shows that Bhagavad Gita is not philosophy, it is a psychology and practical spirituality. It is a practical thing. Arjuna's questions indicate the desire to understand, desire to transform himself, desire to emulate, and desire to internalize the wisdom. He asks, what is the language of a person of studied wisdom? Prabhashita Kim. The language here does not mean the dialect, it means the expression. Arjuna is asking, how does such a person speak? How do they respond? How do they express themselves? He wants to identify the qualities of a person whose mind is not disturbed by pleasure, by pain, by success, or by failure. Next he asks, how does a person establish samadhi sit? How does he sit? This means, what is their inner state when they rest? Are they restless? Are they peaceful? How do they behave when not engaged in the activity? When they are not doing karma, how do they behave? Sitting is symbolic of inner posture, not merely physical posture. So internally how they are. Now next we ask, how do they walk? Walking is not physical walking only, but walking represents interaction. How do they interact? Worldly involvement, daily activity of them, dealing with people. How do they deal with people? And how do they face the responsibilities? That is walking. Arjuna is asking, does enlightenment bring withdrawal from life or deeper engagement with life? Why is this question spiritually profound? It's the Pradesaka Bhasha. A genuine seeker is not satisfied with the intellectual theory. They want to live in wisdom. Practically, कैसा होता है आदमी? Theory बहुत सुन लिया. Equanimity. Okay, we have understood what is the principle of equanimity. But how does it person? How this person looks? Or what he talks? How he walks? Arjuna is essentially asking, how can I recognize a realized person? And how can I become one? This question opens the door to Gita's golden section, the description of Siddha-Prajna, the stable and enlightened soul, Siddha-Prajna. Now Shri Bhagavan answers from next slok 55 to the end of Adhyaya 72 is one of the most beautiful psychological portrait ever written in any spirituality, in any religion. modern relevance for us of this shloka is, even today we ask, what does a spiritual person look like? He looks like us only, or he has two horns on his head, or what? How do they behave under stress? Are they always calm? Do they avoid responsibilities? Do they suppress their emotions? Arjuna's question is timeless. Even we have this question today. Because humans still seek the role models who can embody wisdom in an unstable world. How do they look? Essence for us is, this shloka is the doorway to understanding the enlightenment in daily life. Not in caves or in rituals, but in daily life. How do we understand the enlightened person? We don't find an enlightened person in a cave or in rituals. In day-to-day life, how this enlightened person look like? Now God will start replying from next shloka, shloka 55. Śrī-Bhagavānuvaca प्रजहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थमनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदोच्यते. God says, when a person completely abandons all desires of mind, prajahati yada kaman sarvan, and becomes fully satisfied in the self alone, atmanyevatmana tushta, then he is said to be sthaprajna. Sthaprajna, one of the steady wisdom. The first definition of sthaprajna is one of steady wisdom. In response to Arjuna's questions, what is the behavior of a realized person? Shri Bhagavan starts with this foundational shloka, Prajahati Yada Kaman. This is the root definition from which all further qualities will arise for this Prajna. Shri Bhagavan does not begin with how such a person dress, or what rituals he performs, or how many scriptures he knows, or what miracles he can show. Instead of that, Shri Bhagavan begins with the inner condition of such a person. Inner condition. Whether he puts a tilak or not, whether he wears a saffron clothes or not, Shri Bhagavan gives no importance to all this. A Siddhaprajna is someone whose mind is inwardly free, not someone who merely follows outer discipline. Prajahati yada kaman, abandoning. Jahati is to kill, to remove, to uproot. What says goes a step further. Prajahati, remove it from the root, kill it from the root. Prajahati yada kaman, abandoning all desires. The first component of Shri Bhagavan teachings is complete abandonment of desires, kaman, of the mind, mano agatan, entering into the mind, kill them from the root. Here desire does not mean goals of life or preferences or duties. Shri Krishna is referring to binding desires, which puts a bondage on us. Those that agitate the mind, those which create restlessness in the mind, those who produce dependency in mind, make one believe happiness lies outside that desire. What is mano agatan kama? They are the desires that arise from deep psychological patterns, vasanas in our own mind, the stored impressions that drive craving, comparison, jealousy, greed, and emotional hunger. The Siddhaprajna is free from such disturbing, enslaving desires. This does not mean he becomes inactive or indifferent. Shri Bhagavan is not promoting inactivity, but inner freedom. One may still eat food, as we do. He may still enjoy the nature, as we do. He may still work. He may still build relationships. He may still pursue excellence in life. But none of these remain sources of identity or emotional dependence for him. The outer life can remain dynamic, but the inner life becomes calm. That is the Prajna. Sarvan, God says Sarvan, abandoning all forms of desires, not one or two, Sarvan, all. Shri Bhagavan is referring to desire for recognition, desire for control, desire for possession, desire for pleasure, desire for superiority, desire for praise, desire for future results. These are the desires that steal the inner peace of our mind. The Prajna, he reaches a state where the mind is no longer pulled outward by these cravings. Atmanyevat manatushtas. This is the heart of this shloka, Atmanyevat manatushtas. This is the second half of definition, content in the self by the self. Content in the self by the self. This is a profound statement. And this state of mind is profound when Atmanyevat manatushtas happens. Happiness is internal. Joy is self-born. Peace arises naturally. Nothing external is required to fill the completeness. Such a person does not depend on people, he does not depend on position, he does not depend on circumstances, nor on the status in life, or nor on sensory pleasures of life. He may enjoy the things, but they do not create or destroy his happiness. They simply exist around him. They don't disturb him at all. His happiness is like the light of a lamp. It shines by itself, needing no external fuel except its own oil. So his own thoughts, it doesn't need anything outside. This is the essence of spiritual freedom, when you can find happiness by yourself, within yourself. Atmanyevat manatushtas, this is the spiritual freedom. Now, why does Shri Krishna Bhagavan start with desire? Prajati yada kaman. Because all suffering begins with desire only. Not with events, not with people, not with circumstances, but with desire. All suffering desire with desire. Suffering start with desire. Every chain reaction starts like this. Desire, then expectation, then frustration, then anger, then confusion, misjudgment, and loss of peace. So desire is the starting point. This sequence is very well explained in the forthcoming shlokas 62 and 63. Tehatu Vishayan Pusa Sangaste Shupajayate. So Shri Krishna Bhagavan begins by cutting desire at its source only. Prajati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogata. When desire drops, the mind becomes silent, open, and capable of experiencing the self. A person of steady wisdom is not a dry person. Often people misunderstand. Will I lose interest in life if my desires disappear? I learn Geeta. I understand desire is the enemy number one. If I cut down all my desires, will I lose interest in my life? Nobody wants to lose interest in life. But you will not lose interest in life if you cut down the desires. Shri Krishna is not describing a dull or emotionless person. Yes, the Prajna is not emotionless or is a dull person. He is very active. He works with full energy. He loves deeply. He speaks compassionately. He creates beautifully. He serves selflessly. The difference is he does not act to fulfill egoistic desire, but from inner completeness. His actions arise from clarity, not from craving. The real rest of wisdom, the real test of wisdom is like this. Outer appearance can deceive. Many may behave calmly, but internally burn with desire. We see many people like this. Śrīmad Bhagavan says, the true sign of spiritual maturity is inner satisfaction. Atmanyevat tushtas. Not acting spiritually, not speaking spirituality, not performing rituals. You may perform puja every day. But if you are internally not calm, internally you are not satisfied, what is the use of all that? Being inwardly fulfilled is the expectation of God. This inner fulfillment is a spiritual fragrance. It cannot be faked. It cannot be taught, or it cannot be imposed. It arises naturally when the mind stops running outward. Then you can find Atmanyevat manatushtas. Why is this state very rare? Atmanyevat manatushtas. Because most people believe happiness is outside, in objects, in relationships, in achievements, in positions, or in praise. Shri Bhagavan is reversing that psychological direction. Turn inward. Atmanyamatmana tushtas. Turn inward, not outward. Find the source within. Become desire free by discovering the inner fullness. This is not withdrawal from life. It is rising above the compulsions of life. The heart of teaching is Siddha Prajna is someone who abandons binding desires. He is not pushed around by mind. Rest contained in the self. He is internally fulfilled and peaceful. This inner fulfillment is the birthmark of spiritual realization. Next sloka. Dukkheshvanadvigramana sukheshu vigadaspраha vitaragavayakrodhastitadir. One whose mind is undisturbed by sorrow, Dukkheshvanadvigramana, who is free from longing for pleasures, Sukheshu vigadaspраha, who is free from attachment, fear and anger, vitaragavayakrodha. Such a person of disciplined mind is called Stitadhi, a sage of steady wisdom. Stitadhir munirichyate. This sloka continues the description of Siddha Prajna. Stitadhi is that Siddha Prajna, a person who has attained that steady wisdom. In earlier sloka, Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā described the inner foundation of such a person who is Siddha Prajna, freedom from desire and inner contentment. Atmanyavatmana tushtas. Now in this sloka, Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā explains the emotional stability and the psychological maturity of such an awakened individual. In this sloka describes the happiness inside such a person when the life brings pain or pleasure or challenges or unexpected situations. Dukkheshvanadvigramana, undisturbed in times of sorrow. Life inevitably brings dukkha, loss, disease, failure, insults, separations, uncertainty, aging and death. These are all dukkha. Even the wisest person does not escape these external events. Nobody can escape. What changes is the inner reaction. From person to person, what changes is inner reaction. Outward, everybody has to go through this. A Stitadhi, he does not panic in any of these situations. He does not collapse emotionally. He does not fall into the self-pity or hopelessness. He does not give up. He does not lose the balance of his mind. This does not mean he feels no sorrow. Even enlightened beings, they feel natural human responses. They also feel unhappy when things happen like that. What Shri Krishna means is, sorrow does not shake his inner foundation. Why? Because he does not identify himself with the body, mind, personality alone. He is beyond that. His sense of I is rooted in something deeper than body, mind, the Atma, the soul, which is the unchanging. These external sorrows appears as passing events, not existential threats for him. What is beyond this? Sukheshu vigadaspраha, without craving in pleasures. Most people lose balance, not only in sorrow, but also in pleasure. Pleasure usually creates attachment, dependence, greed, fear of losing the pleasure, and pressure to repeat the pleasurable experience. Shri Krishna Bhagavan says that a wise person is vigadaspраha, free from the thirst for pleasure. Again, it does not mean he rejects pleasure or hates joy. No, he also enjoys pleasure. He loves joy. It means he enjoys what comes naturally. He doesn't crave for it. But he does not run behind such pleasures. Pleasure do not control his mind. He does not lose wisdom, clarity, or balance in moments of enjoyment. So he is like the ocean. Rivers of pleasure may enter into that ocean, but the ocean remains full, steady, and calm. We'll read a beautiful slok maybe next week. Apuriman Michil Prashtam Samudram Pravishanti Adva. His happiness does not depend on the outer pleasures. Vitaraga bhaya krodha, free from attachment. Rag is anurag. Bhaya, fear and anger. He is free from all these three. This is a powerful psychological triad. Shri Bhagavan says such a person is free from rag, that means attachment. Attachment is the mental glue that binds us to people, to things, to emotions, or to the outcomes. Attachment says, I cannot be happy without this. This must stay exactly the way I want. That is attachment. This creates constant anxiety in our mind, because things may not be happening to your wishes all the time. A stable-minded person loves deeply, but without clinging to the results. He acts, he cares, and he gives. But his peace does not depend on how others behave or how the events unfold. Bhaya, fear. Fear arises from attachment. When we are attached, we fear losing the object, or failure, or disapproval, or uncertainty, or change. Fear controls most human actions. But a Sitadhi, that means the Prajna, he lives with inner security, not dependent on outside security. He is fearless not because he is powerful, but because he is independent of externals. Krodha, anger. Anger arises from the blocked desires. When something goes not the way you want, anger appears. The Siddhadi is free from anger because he has very few desires. He does not insist that the life must follow his own plan. He sees events as a part of large cosmic order. His ego is never threatened. Thus his reactions are calm, measured, and compassionate. Siddhi Muni Uchyate. Such a person is called a sage of steady wisdom. Siddhi. Shri Bhagavan concludes saying that the person who has mastered his emotional life, his reactions to sorrow, to pleasure, to attachment, to fear, and to anger is truly Siddhi. This is not a theoretical concept. This is a living psychological ideal that Shri Bhagavan is telling us. So practical understanding for us is, this shloka answers two important questions. One is, how do I know if I am progressing spiritually? Okay, we have been reading Geeta for many months or many years. How do we gauge ourselves whether we are progressing spiritually or not? Not by how many scriptures you memorize. You may have learned by heart the entire Bhagavad-Gītā. You may have gone to Sringeri, got the certificate also from Shankaracharya. But does it mean you have progressed spiritually? Your progress on spirituality depends on how you respond in life. Do sorrows still crush you? Do pleasures enslave you? Do attachments blind you? Do fears still rule you? Does anger dominate you? If answer to all these questions is yes, then we have not progressed much on spirituality. But if these things are even slowly happening in our life, then we are moving on this state. So what is the emotional perfection in the Geeta? No separation, no indifference, not becoming a stone. Geeta doesn't want to become a stone. It is feeling everything, but not being dominated by anything. Acting from clarity, not reacting from impulse. The summary for us is, a Sthitadi, a stable-minded person, is one who is unshaken by sorrow, free from craving and pleasures, free from attachment, free from fear, and free from anger. Such a person is called Sthitadi, a sage whose wisdom does not waver upon ups and downs of life. There are interesting stories. One of them is Lokmanya Tilak. He was writing one editorial for his Kesari in his veranda, when a person came from a village and he said, Tilakji, we want your help. There's some issue in the village. Tilakji said, just wait for 5 minutes. Let me finish this editorial. I have to get it for printing. After a couple of minutes, a man comes from inside his house and he says, Tilakji, all preparations are done. Now everybody is waiting for you. This visiting villager, he thought the food is being served, all are waiting for him now. So he said, okay, you can go and have your lunch. I have still a lot of time. Tilakji said, not waiting for me for lunch. My elder son has died today. His dead body is lying in my house. I have to go for cremation. This Titadi. His son is dead body is lying in the house. He is writing editorial, completing his responsibility of writing an editorial for his newspaper. He is visiting his customer. He is asking him, he is a villager, he is a visitor. What is your problem? I can solve your problem. This Titadi. So we have people around us who are Titadi. We need to keep our eyes and ears open to see such as Titadi. So to continue, next slok 57. Yes, sarvatrana-visnehasthat prapyeshu ashubham na vinandati nadveshti tasya prajna pradishtita. He who is without attachment everywhere, who neither rejoices on obtaining good nor hates on encountering evil, his wisdom is firmly established. In this sloka, Shri Krishna Bhagavan continues describing the qualities of the Sthita Prajna, a person of steady wisdom. After describing the emotional stability in earlier sloka, he now explains how such a person relates to the external world, especially its constant flow of pleasant and unpleasant situations. This sloka represents one of the deepest principles in the psychology of Bhagavad Gita. Inner freedom is measured not by what happens to you, but by how you respond to that. Yes, sarvatra anavisnehas. One who is unattached everywhere. Sarvatra. The word anavisnehas means absence of sticky attachment. Anavisnehas. It does not mean lack of love or lack of compassion or lack of care. The attachment is emotional dependence. I am incomplete without this person. This situation must stay exactly the way I want. My peace depends on this object. The Siddha Prajna does not follow his peace to be dependent on any of relationships or objects or outcomes or the role. This state is achieved not by running away from life, but by living in the world with inner independence. Like the lotus that lives in water but remains untouched by it, the wise person lives among people, among responsibilities, among events, yet remains free within. Tatprapya shubha ashubham. When he encounters good or bad situations, life is a mixture of shubha, pleasant, favorable things, praises, success, comforts, gains, are all shubha. But it consists of ashubha also, unpleasant, unfavorable, insults, failure, loss, discomfort. These are all ashubha. No one escapes this duality in life. Even the most spiritual person will face both of these, shubha and ashubha. Shri Krishna Bhagavan is not teaching how to avoid life's ups and downs. He is teaching how to remain stable despite them. A wise person does not demand that life should fulfill his wishes. Instead, he accepts the rhythm of life with maturity, that this rhythm will continue of Shubha and Ashubha. He knows success is temporary. He knows failure is temporary. He knows pleasure is temporary. He knows pain is temporary. Because he knows that their temporary nature, he is not shaken by them. No abhinande. He does not excessively rejoice. When something good happens, ordinary people, they become overly excited, going to the rooftop and shouting, I got this, I got this. They lose balance. They cling to that moment of success. They develop expectation more and more, create fear of losing the favorable situation. But this excitement quickly turns into attachment. Attachment later becomes suffering. The Siddha Prajna enjoys favorable moments, but he does not become intoxicated by them. He does not lose judgment. He does not cling to his success. He does not create ego out of achievement. His joy is gentle, calm and balanced. This is the joy of a person who knows his true happiness comes from within and not from the events. Not dveshti. He does not hate or resent the unpleasant situations. This is extremely challenging. Unpleasant events normally produce resentment, anger, frustration, bitterness, victimhood, or blame. The wise person sees these unpleasant situations as a part of law of karma, an unfolding of life's natural order. He does not suppress emotions, but understands them. Why does he not hate unpleasant things? Everybody does. He doesn't hate. Why? Because he does not expect the world to always behave according to his desires. He does not take the adversity personally. He sees difficulty as opportunity to grow. His sense of self is not threatened by loss or by insult. He remains stable even in disappointment because he knows all experiences, pleasant or painful, are temporary waves on the timeless ocean of life. Tasya pradnya pratishtita. Such a person of wisdom is firmly established. Time is the core message. Wisdom is not defined. Wisdom is not defined by how much scriptures you know, how long you meditate, how many rituals you perform. Wisdom is defined by how you respond to life. As I said, you will be learning by heart Geeta every day. But have you grown spiritually? It is defined by how you respond in your day-to-day life. The Siddha does not allow circumstances to conquer him or his peace of mind. His peace flows from within, not from external approval. His wisdom has become so stable that outer events cannot agitate him, praise does not inflate him, criticism does not deflate him, gain does not excite him, and loss does not depress him. He meets both his Shubha and Ashubha with equal serenity. Practical application of this message in our life, this shloka teaches us, do your duties, but do not allow your happiness to depend on the results of your duties. Enjoy good times without clinging. Endure difficult times without fear. Remain inwardly free even while living actively in the world. And respond to life consciously, not react emotionally. Modern psychology calls this emotional resilience. When we can remain equipoised in all situations, modern science calls it emotional resilience. Bhagavad Gītā teaches this Siddha Prajna, the highest human maturity, and it taught this 5,500 years back. Next shloka. Yada samvarde cha yankurmonga aniva sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhyastasya prajna pratisthita. When like a tortoise withdrawing its limbs from all directions, one withdraws the senses from their sense objects, then that person's wisdom becomes steady. In earlier shlokas 56 and 57, Shri Krishna Bhagavan explained emotional balance and detachment. In this shloka, he focuses on sense control, Indriya Nigraha, a foundational requirement for the spiritual clarity. He uses beautiful and practical metaphor of a tortoise. The tortoise metaphor is a symbol of inner control. A tortoise lives in the world just like any other creature, yet it possesses a unique ability. It can withdraw its limbs instantly and completely when the danger appears. Shri Krishna Bhagavan says the spiritual aspirant must develop similar mastery over his senses like the tortoise. Just the tortoise can pull in all its limbs not by force but naturally. Similarly, a wise person withdraws the senses naturally. Not because he hates the world, not because he fears the temptation, but because his inner maturity guides him to do so. This is not suppression. Suppression is temporary and creates frustration. Krishna Bhagavan speaks of withdrawal born out of wisdom. Yada samvarte chayam. When this person withdraws the senses, the word samvarte means gather inward, fold back, or bring under control, or turn attention inward instead of outside. It is an intentional conscious actions, samvarte. Most people are slave to their senses. Their senses drag them outward, like the 5 strong horses pulling a weak charioteer outside. But the wise person is the master. He governs his senses instead of being governed by the senses. The 5 senses and their pull. The senses constantly seek stimulation. Eyes chase beauty. Ears chase praise or melodies or gossip. Nose seeks smells. Tongues seek tastes. Skin seeks comfort. Every stimulus creates attraction, attachment, dependence, habit, and slavery. Shri Bhagavan says that the Siddha Prajna interrupts this chain by conscious withdrawal. Samvarte. Sense withdrawal is not escaping from life. Many misunderstand this shloka to mean that one must avoid the world. But Shri Krishna Bhagavan never asks Arjuna to run away. The true meaning is withdraw the senses when needed, so that the mind remains calm, not overwhelmed by desires or by distractions. The tortoise does not live inside itself for all the time. जिंदगी भर ऐसे पड़ा रहता है अंदर, under itself. It walks, it eats, it moves, it lives normally. But it retreats at the right moment. Similarly, the wise person engages in the world, he performs his duties, he enjoys the life's offerings, but withdraws when the temptations disturbs his mental balance. It is control through wisdom, not forced renunciation. Now, why sense control is necessary for sense steady wisdom? The uncontrolled senses, they disturb the concentration. They inflame the desires. They stimulate the emotions. They create restlessness in the mind. They pull the mind outward. And they weaken the inner peace. If the mind is constantly chasing objects, wisdom cannot remain steady. The Shri Krishna Bhagavan places sense control at the heart of inner strength. Just as a lamp cannot give steady light in the world, a lake cannot reflect clarity in the rippled water, the mind cannot think clearly amid sense agitation. Wisdom becomes steady only when the senses are disciplined. Practical meaning for us in daily life is this shloka gives a powerful psychological practice. When should we withdraw our senses like tortoise? When anger is rising, when greed is beginning to pull, when attraction tries to dominate, when gossip becomes tempting, when unhealthy habits call, when pleasure tries to enslave us, when fear or excitement hijacks our clarity. In such moments, instead of reacting impulsively, pull back inward, like the tortoise. Examples: instead of arguing in anger, step away. Instead of overeating tasty food, pause. Instead of scrolling endlessly, put the phone down. Instead of acting on impulse, take a breath. This conscious withdrawal is the first step to mastery over desires. Now, withdrawal does not mean loss of joy. Spiritual withdrawal is often misunderstood as joylessness. But opposite is true. When senses are in control, pleasures become deeper, peace becomes stable, relationships become healthier, decisions become wiser, and mind becomes lighter. So it is good or bad? Good, no? The senses are meant to serve the mind, not to enslave the mind. Freedom from sense slavery is true freedom. Tasya prajna pratishtita, then wisdom is firmly established. This phrase is repeated throughout the section of Bhagavad Gita to show that wisdom is not about knowledge alone, It is about the inner discipline. A person who can withdraw the senses at will is not manipulated by desires, remains calm in the midst of disturbances, does not react impulsively, develops deep intuition, enjoys inner stillness, lives with inner lives with self-respect and dignity. Such a person, his wisdom stands firmly established. Tasya pradnya pradishtita, stable, unshakable, like a mountain. Summary for us is, this shloka teaches the senses must serve the mind, not rule it. Withdrawal must be natural and wise, not forced. The tortoise is the model of inner mastery. True freedom comes from the ability to turn inward as and when needed. A person who has achieved self-control, he becomes stable in wisdom. I think we should stop here. Next slokas we'll take in the last session of this adhyay. Now the forum is open for you to raise your questions. Thank you so very much for the patience. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you so much for such a deep explanation about it. Now, there is important announcement for all of you. There is Geeta Olympiad is going on for all ages. There is not only for the kids. Olympiad is not only kind of a word of quiz. It is about Geeta quiz and for all the age brackets. So for Geeta Olympiad, register on geetajayanti.com and you can give that Olympiad quiz. So, Bhaiya, can we start the question answer session? Those who
Yeah.
have the question, kindly
Any
raise your hand.
questions? Feel free to ask your questions.
Raise your hand, please. जी भैया
कृष्णमूर्ति भैया
साहू जी
हाँ
Bhaiya Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Bhaiya, your explanation is very much excellent and very convincing. I cannot express it in words. But
Thank you.
my question is, I could not understand the sloka number 53.
53. Okay.
Shruti Vipanna te yadayo.
See, as I said, there are contradictory philosophies that we keep listening from people. People are in different stages in their lives. So a brahmachari will offer you different guidance. A grihastha will offer you different guidance. A sannyasi will offer you different guidance. It depends on what stage of life they are. Rich, poor, they will offer you different things. So we keep hearing contradicting advices from different people at different times. So that is Shruti Pratipanna. We hear many contradictory advices. That is Shruti Pratipanna. But in that also,
Different opinions.
contradictory opinion, listening from different people, even then we should remain steady in our thoughts. When we hear different contradictory advices, even then we should have that ability to remain steady in our wisdom. If our wisdom starts flowing in different direction with different advices from different people, how can we become steady in our mind? So that is Shruti Pradavanna. Yadasasiti Dishala.
Nisramaka matlab only immovable, not be emotional or
You can be emotional, but you don't get dragged with different advices in different directions. If people are giving you two contradictory advices, where you will go? This side or that way? Right side or left side? So you have to ultimately take your own call. Depending on your internal thoughts, your internal steadiness of mind. Otherwise, you will get dragged in different directions from different people. If you allow that to happen, then you can never get out of your confusion.
You must follow your conscious.
So that's why I always insist that even while studying Bhagavad-Gītā, you listen to all speakers. You read all sorts of books. But after doing all, because people draw different meanings of the same shloka, of the same word, they can draw different meanings. based on their
Yes.
own intellect. But after doing hearing, reading, watching everything, you should close your own eyes and then think your own thoughts. That these are the opinions of different people like this. What do I think about it? Our
अच्छा,
money
ये
chintan, our contemplation is most
हम्म,
important. People advise, okay, you can listen to them as expert advice, fine, no, nothing wrong in that. But ultimately, what we think about it is most important.
okay,
Otherwise, different speaker will speak differently, and then we will not know whether speaker A is right or speaker B is right.
अच्छा,
So our own contemplation, our own mani chintan is the best. Shruti Panna, people will keep talking different things. But
अच्छा,
what
हाँ,
do I draw? What do I think about it?
अच्छा, ठीक है, हाँ,
So your inner thoughts, they should guide your life, not somebody's advice.
समाधा कुचला बुद्धिस own
हाँ,
own
so
intellect, you should remain
samadha
in
here is samadhi sthiti. Samadha is not samadhan. Samadha is samadhi sthiti. That means the steadiness of mind. His
it.
buddhi becomes samadhi. His buddhi becomes steady. When under different contradictory advices, when you are established well in your own thoughts, that state of mind, when your buddhi is samadhi, that means your intellect is equibalanced, then you are in yogam vapsasi. Then you attend the yoga.
अच्छा,
Now
मोवापसुसी
in WhatsApp, you see, every day if you open the
मोवापसुसी
WhatsApp, if you
what
open
is the meaning
WhatsApp,
of
you get,
मोवापसुसी? What is the
yeah,
meaning of मोवापसुसी?
obsessive means to
मोवापसुसी,
attain. Yogama obsessive means to attain yoga, to achieve yoga.
अच्छा,
Then you become a yogi. Then you become a yogi.
अच्छा, हाँ,
Yeah. Yeah.
समझ
Yogama
गया,
obsessive, that means you become a yogi. Yeah. You attain the yoga, you become yogi.
हाँ, समझ गया,
Yeah.
हम्म।
Okay.
Sanjay
Any other
Bhaiya,
questions, please?
Sanjay Bhaiya, unmute please.
भाई एनडी प्रेयर करने के लिए क्यों कैसे उसको जो चांस मिलेगा प्रेयर करने के लिए विवेचन क्लास में एनडी की प्रेयर
Yeah.
बोलने के लिए एनडी की प्रेयर बोलने के लिए समापन प्रार्थना
भैया
बोलने के लिए
आप अपने जिस right now you are a sadhak in which group? Just inform your technical assistant for this. That person will guide you better.
टेक्निकल
Yes, Sanjay ji, boliye.
हाँ जय श्री कृष्ण
Jai
इन
Shri
श्लोक
Krishna.
नंबर 247
Yeah.
247 कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ति मा फलेषु कदाचन
Yes. 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 Yes.
this is ever popular and ever
Yes.
confused.
Yes.
One point is for one action similar action we have
Yes.
array of people, they have appeared in one examination and the result is given to first 5 people similar way.
Mm.
The
Mm.
next 5 people are denied. They sat in the same examination, scored these marks. They also come with this selection zone. Whether the second group people will go on complaining or will remain silent, that this is also the fate that we had to suffer or we have to enjoy. The result is according to our karma. So we have no control over karma. So these 5 people have got their rewards. We will keep quiet. Or we'll go to the court or we'll challenge it in any forum, whether this is required or not. Because we see imbalance in our common eyes.
Good question. See, the thing is, God is not asking you to drop your efforts or lessen your sincerity or your hard work. You should do your best
Yes.
for achieving the best results. But don't depend on it. If you keep your sight on the results of your karma, that I should get this only, then only I'll be happy, then you are affecting the refinement of your karma. Then your karma becomes inferior. I always give an example of a surgeon who is performing surgery. He has performed thousands of surgeries, but when it comes to surgery, making surgery of his own son, his hand starts shivering because he feels about the result of his karma. If I fail in surgery, my only son may die also. So he calls another surgeon to perform. The same surgeon has been performing surgeries day in and day out. That time he did not think about it.
No,
Because
sir.
he was fully concentrating on the karma.
Yes, sir. That is the point. But my question is 10 people appeared in examination. 5 got same scoring. Others are in the zone of selection. 5 got chances to be get appointed or selected in any other selection. But the next people were denied. Even if there is vacancy, whether these 5 people will go to the court to fight or will take that is their fate.
It depends on their own wisdom, whether they want to go to court and fight and get their things done the way they want. But Gita does not teach that you decline the judgment. Of course, people may act out of bias. In today's world, it does happen that people out of bias, they may take some vindictive action against some people. If you
That-
notice any such thing, then you should not stop your actions of getting a judgment in your favor. Gita doesn't say you don't fight. Rather, Gita says you should fight for your right. Arjuna was asked to fight for his fight, no?
Yes.
But if you
I
are
have
confident,
another question, sir. Yes, sir. I
yeah,
have another question, sir.
yeah,
In sloka number 54, the question of
Hmm.
Arjuna, he has basically asked three questions. Sthita
yes,
pragya, kim asheta, kim ashita, kim vrajeta.
yeah,
But as you said, sir, the answer lies in question number 55 to 72.
72, yeah.
But my point
We have
is
discussed only
whether
few of
that,
today. Remaining we'll discuss next session.
sir, but my point is whether the three questions have been answered sequentially or all the answers are intermingled in all answers given from 55.
Now they are intermingled. What you say is right. They are intermingled, not sequentially answered. You can draw different meanings of the same shloka, and then you can find their answers in different shlokas of the same question.
Okay.
That's why there is three questions where this could have been finished in 3 shlokas. But the God went on explaining from 55 to 72. How many shlokas?
But
So
my
that is why.
for 10 questions for 10 strokers, answer number part is in clear.
No,
Next,
they're not sequentially. They come in different sequence.
thank you.
But ultimately, all questions are answered.
Answer, yes, sir.
Yes.
Yudhishthir Pandey Bhaiya ji, unmute please.
Vikas Bhaiya,
Yes, sir.
you are not only teaching us, giving us the explanation of the slokas, but also you are motivating us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this action. And last time I had asked how to be action oriented and not result oriented. In fact, I want to share one thing. I had not registered for this Patak exam, which was to be held today. So on 7th only, after listening from you, I said, let me the next 7 days concentrate on my actions and not thinking about the results. And thankfully, I did that. I didn't focus at the result, whether I will do well or not. But for last 7 days, I was fully engrossed in my, reciting and, trying to remembering it. And I'm happy today I appeared and it has, I did my best. So I'm very happy. And like this, I want to apply whatever you are saying in my life so that I get more benefit from Gita, not only by studying, but by really applying in life. And I'm so thankful to you for motivating us. Thank you so much.
But take a caution. Sometimes you may fail also. Though you do your best, but you accept it with equanimity. Don't give up give up your efforts just because you don't achieve success once. With the
No,
same.
I'll be happy that even the result doesn't come. I'll be happy that I put my best.
Exactly. That
That
is
is the
living
way.
Gita.
I think
Then you are
the
living Gita.
age,
If you are
my
if you are
age
living
also has
equipoised, if
my
you are living
age also has
equipoised,
taught me these lessons that
yes,
you cannot be successful everywhere. So that
yeah, then
maturity
you are
is there.
living
Thank you
Gita.
so much.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jai Lakshmi ji.
Jai Shri Krishna, Vikas ji.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I don't have a doubt, but I just want to tell you how enlightened I am feeling after this session. Actually, I listen only to your recorded videos, but yesterday and today I have been going through a lot of turbulence, a lot of emotional turbulence in my relationship with my daughter and my husband. And it has been taking a toll on my stress and anxiety levels. And somehow I just came away from all that and I just, came in live today and not listened to the. You won't believe it, but I just feel that your discourse has been made for me today.
My God.
Yes. I feel you have done it for me today, that it is for me to listen to you today. You have done it for me. Because I was, after starting my Geeta classes in January, I'm in level 4 now. There has been a lot of change. I have been working with the feeling that, yes, I have to do my karma without attaching myself to the fruits. What I'm going through, all the miseries in my life now is because of my previous janmas. So I have to go through this now. So I have been destined by Lord Krishna to go through all this, and I have to take it with full acceptance. I have to take it in my hands. I've been doing that. But somehow I lost my cool yesterday and today. But now I'm going to relook at the whole thing very differently. I'm going to look for inner peace. I'm going to completely be like a kurma. I'm going to look at Sthita Prajna. I'm going to reach there very soon. I'm going to imbibe all the values which have taught us today. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna.
जय श्री
God
कृष्ण
bless you. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू दीदी जय श्री कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण
जी हिमांशु गुप्ता जी, प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ. जी प्लीज आस्क द क्वेश्चन.
जय श्री कृष्ण भैया. मेरे
जय श्री
कई
कृष्ण
कई क्वेश्चन है. एक तो
जी
मुझे ये पूछना था कि पूना में आपका आश्रम, आप पूना के है ना, शायद मुझे सुनते हुए
जी
ऐसा
जी
लगा.
जी पुणे पे
आपका कहाँ पर है
मॉडल कॉलोनी.
ऑफिस? क्योंकि बेटी वहाँ रहती है.
अच्छा मॉडल
हाँ
कॉलोनी
जी,
शिवाजी नगर करके ही है वहाँ पे.
मॉडल कॉलोनी
हाँ शिवाजी
शिवाजी
नगर
नगर. अच्छा,
जी
शिवाजी नगर. अच्छा, पुणे.
या
और इनका जो गुरुदेव का आपके, वो कहाँ पर है? पुणे में है ना उनका भी?
हाँ पुणे में मेरे घर के पास में एक उनका आश्रम धर्मश्री और वेदश्री जो वो
अच्छा,
आलंदी
के
में है.
पास ही हाँ जी.
हाँ धर्मश्री मेरे घर के पास में है और वेदश्री करके
अच्छा,
जो है वो आलंदी
किस
में है,
नाम
वो
से
काफी दूर
आश्रम
है.
है उनका?
हाँ धर्मश्री
आश्रम किस नाम से?
धर्मश्री.
धर्मश्री.
हाँ धर्मश्री.
हाँ जी, धर्मश्री.
और दूसरा
अच्छा,
आश्रम है वेदश्री,
और बाकी?
वो आलंदी में है, वो आलंदी में है.
अच्छा, दो है वहां पर.
हाँ दो है, वो थोड़ा दूर है आलंदी यहाँ से, लेकिन
दूसरा
धर्मश्री
बता
पास में है.
दीजिए, दूसरा बता दीजिए.
वेदश्री.
वेदश्री. हाँ
हम्म
जी. और किस नाम से वो कहाँ पर है मतलब?
आलंदी आलंदी यहाँ पे संत
आलंदी.
ज्ञानेश्वर की समाधि है ना, संत
हाँ जी, हाँ
ज्ञानेश्वर
जी.
जी की समाधि महाराज की, उस
अच्छा,
जगह पर. हाँ वहाँ
अच्छा.
पर.
हाँ
जी
जी. विवेचन आपका भैया बहुत अच्छा लगा. अब मुझे ये कहना था कि एक बार मैंने लिख दिया था कि लोगों को, अच्छे अच्छे लोगों को भागवत और भगवत गीता में अंतर नहीं पता, तो वो
हम्म
छपा क्यों नहीं मैगजीन में आपकी?
हम्म
एक मैं एग्जांपल देती हूँ
हम्म
कि उनको सारी वो पुराण कंठस्थ है, ये सब कंठस्थ है उनको. और उनके घर में जो पेड़ मैंने देखा, उसमें भागवत गीता लिखा हुआ
ओ
था.
हम्म
तो छपना चाहिए ना फिर, कि अच्छे, इतने अच्छे लोगों को नहीं पता भागवत और भगवत गीता में क्या अंतर है, तो छपना चाहिए ना लेखो, जिससे पता लग जाए.
हाँ इसलिए इसका
मैंने
प्रचार प्रसार
लिखा था,
आवश्यक है.
भेजा भी था. हाँ जी.
हाँ इसके लिए इसका प्रचार प्रसार करना
क्या
आवश्यक है,
बोला आपने?
गीता का प्रचार प्रसार करना इसीलिए
नहीं,
आवश्यक है.
वो तो मैं कर रही हूँ. वो
हाँ
भैया, वो तो मैं कर रही हूँ. जब से मैंने ज्वाइन करा, मैं तीसरी बार पढ़ रही हूँ. प्रचार
अच्छा
प्रसार मैं कर रही हूँ, लेकिन फिर भी वो जो मैं बता रही हूँ ना, जो हमारी एटीएस से मैं बोल रही हूँ, यहाँ से इंदिरापुरम से, तो वहां पर एक है,
हम्म
उनको सब कुछ कंठस्थ है.
हम्म
ठीक है. लेकिन उनके घर में जो पेड़ की फोटो उन्होंने मुझे भेजी, तो उसमें लिखा है भागवत गीता.
हम्म
जब इतने इंटेलिजेंट को नहीं पता, तो ये बताइए आप.
नहीं क्या, हर एक की सोचना अलग होता है सर का.
नहीं, पर उसमें छपा क्यों नहीं, मैं ये पूछ रही हूँ. एक सेकेंड रुको.
पता नहीं है मुझे वो स्टोरी पता नहीं आप किस
तो
बारे के बारे में बोल रही है.
किससे पता लगे, ये बताइए ना आप. मैं
नहीं
उससे बात
आप
कर
किस
लूंगी.
बारे में बोल रही है मुझे पता नहीं है, किस बारे में आप बता रही है,
अच्छा,
इसलिए इसके
अच्छा,
बारे में
अच्छा.
कमेंट नहीं कर
हाँ, मैं ये
सकता.
कह रही हूँ, जो आपकी मैगजीन है ना, आपकी मैगजीन जो है, उसके लिए मैंने एक लेख भेजा था. मैं पूरा बता
अच्छा
देती
नहीं
हूँ डिटेल में.
हाँ नहीं
हाँ
वो
जी.
आपके उसके लिए आपको दूसरे एक संपादक मंडल से कांटेक्ट करना पड़ेगा, वो मेरे
अच्छा,
इस पे अधिकार क्षेत्र में नहीं आता है वो.
दीदी
पीछे हटो ना.
दीदी आप जहाँ साधक है ना,
अच्छा,
वहाँ अपने
वो
टेक्निकल असिस्टेंट को बताइए या ग्रुप कोऑर्डिनेटर को
हाँ
बताइए. वो आपकी बात जो है वो उस पर्टिकुलर डिपार्टमेंट जो है, जो ये
डिपार्टमेंट पहुंचाएंगे
पब्लिकेशन
हाँ.
करते हैं, उनसे कम्युनिकेट कर देंगे.
हम्म
अच्छा,
जी.
ठीक है, ठीक है. एक
जी
प्रश्न मुझे और पूछना था. अरे, ये लो. मुझे पूछना था, जो संजय सुना रहे हैं भगवत गीता, उनका विवाह हुआ था कि नहीं हुआ था?
उससे क्या लेने देने भगवत गीता का, सब
अरे,
गृहस्थी
मैं
थे.
नहीं,
संजय
मैं
भी
अलग से
संजय भी
पूछ रही हूँ.
गृहस्थी
मैं
थे,
तो
कृष्ण भी गृहस्थी थे,
ये
अर्जुन भी
प्रश्न.
गृहस्थी थे. ये सब गृहस्थी लोगों के बीच का संवाद है. संजय भी
अच्छा,
गृहस्थी थे.
गृहस्थी थे ये.
हाँ
हाँ जी.
सभी गृहस्थी थे सब.
अच्छा, अच्छा, अच्छा.
हाँ
हाँ जी. बस. और एक
ठीक है,
मुझे
और कोई सवाल है
सूचना
किसी
देनी
का?
थी. बाहर जा रहे हैं.
दीदी और कोई प्रश्न
एक
है
प्रश्न
क्या
मेरा
आपके
और था। हाँ, एक और है कि मुझे सिर्फ ये
हम्म।
सूचना देनी थी कि पुराण में से वेद निकले, वेद में से पुराण नहीं निकले। सिर्फ मुझे ये बात करनी थी बस, और कुछ नहीं।
वो
प्रश्न
तो
नहीं
है,
है ये।
वेद तो सबसे पुराने हैं। वेद तो 80,000 साल से ज्यादा पुराने हैं। उस टाइम तो कोई
वेद
था ही नहीं।
वेद कितने पुराने हैं?
80,000 साल से ज्यादा पुराने हैं।
हाँ जी। अच्छा।
हम्म। हम्म।
नहीं, पर पुराण में जो बात है वो हिंदी में है। पुराण
हम्म।
सारे हिंदी में है और वेद संस्कृत में है। तो
नहीं
वेद
नहीं,
से, पुराण
ओरिजिनल
से वेद
सब
निकले होंगे ना, ये
ओरिजिनल
मुझे।
ओरिजिनल सब संस्कृत में ही था।
हाँ
उसके
जी।
बाद में लोगों ने हिंदी तो भाषा बाद में निकली ना। जो देव भाषा है वो संस्कृत ही थी सबकी।
अच्छा।
हाँ,
हाँ जी।
बाकी सब भाषाएं बाद में निकली है।
नहीं
ठीक है,
पर
और किसी का सवाल है क्या कुछ इस श्लोक के
जी
बारे में या गीता के बारे में?
नहीं, वो
जी गुरु भैया आपको प्रश्न है क्या
Jai Shri Krishna, sir.
जय श्री कृष्ण।
Your Vivachan was awesome, sir. And I have two questions.
या
One is if one it's in the family conflict. What I'm saying, one is in Sthiti Pragna,
या
the other is totally chaos. And what you have said, expectations. That's all the things which are you have
हम्म।
explained. In that
हम्म।
situation, how to manage? One is cool, one is in Sthita Pragna, but
हम्म।
conflict is there since many years, which is not
हम्म।
resolving.
हम्म।
So, how can we? It's very difficult for all family members to handle this situation.
Yeah, it's difficult. I agree. But what
Yeah,
our focus is on maintaining inner peace. The person who is
correct.
behaving in Sthitaprajna manner, he will enjoy a better inner peace than a person who may externally be materially happy, but he may not enjoy the inner peace. So Gita's focus is on enjoying the inner peace and not on the external appearance or external happiness of your
But it has
material life.
become pain, really pain in the to manage that situation. That's what only we can convince them to go ahead with the Gita and then learn something and can improve in their life. That's what I was planning.
I think some problem in internet.
Is it okay, sir? Is it
Yeah,
audible?
now we can hear. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, only thing I had to convince them to join and read and come out of that this one. And the
Yeah, yeah,
second one, sir, second one, uh, this is in relation to the Kurukshetra, where
Mhm.
Abhimanyu got killed, and purposefully Arjuna was taken away by the Krishna to have some war with some other tribals. I don't know that
Yes.
that situation. And here the war is end. He is doing his duty, but at the same
Mm.
time he is losing his son. So
Mm.
how they are related? Once I've also undergone few good things happening, and at the same time bad news I'm hearing. So how these things
See, they are the
difficult, sir?
realities of life. See, these are the realities of life. That's why when Sri Krishna Bhagavan showed his Virat Roop in 11th Adhyay, he showed a lot of warriors getting killed, entering into
Yeah,
his mouth, he chewing them and all that. He did not show Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu also died,
yeah.
no? But
Okay,
he did
okay.
not purposely show Abhimanyu because if Arjuna would have seen Abhimanyu dying in the war, probably he would have run away from the
Yeah,
battlefield that
demotivated.
time only.
Yeah.
Because
Correct.
he had not become Siddha by that time. He still had to become, which he became at the end of 18th Adhyay when he says, Nashtomo Sthirlabdhat Vaddasaran Mayachudha Sthidosmigandhe. That was the stage when he was prepared for any eventuality to happen. That time he got
When
the full wisdom.
is it true like whenever we do good and same bad thing will happen or something will happen? No, it's not
No,
related.
it's not necessary. It's not necessary. It's not necessary that if you do something good will happen instantly. The karma,
Yeah.
the law of karma says you will have the karma phala, but when and in what form, that you cannot decide. It may happen in this life, it may happen in next life or next to next life. It does happen. But
Okay, sir.
when, we don't know that. That's why we see a lot of baddies enjoying their life
Ah,
and a lot of good
that's
people
what.
suffering their life. So why it is happening like that? We say all corrupt politicians, they're still enjoying their life. All corrupt fellows. And all people who
Correct.
are sincere and very honest. Some of them are rotting in the jail also, some for no fault of theirs.
Yes,
You see
yes,
this?
yes.
This is the law of karma. We don't know their earlier karmas. We know their balance sheet of only this present life. but we do not have any record of their past lives. But ultimately, everybody has to pay, either in this life or next life or next to next life. Nobody is going unscathed.
Correct. Correct. Thank you, sir. Thanks for
Thank you.
clarification. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sai Sarat ji, please unmute yourself and on your video if possible.
दीदी यशपाल भैया को ले लीजिए
जी यशपाल जी
जय श्री कृष्ण
Jai Shri Krishna.
भैया जी मेरा सवाल my question is a very basic question.
Yeah.
As I understand so far that Bhagavan
Yeah.
Krishna had narrated the whole Gita to Arjuna to
Yes.
motivate him to fight,
Yes.
and it was right in the middle of the two armies. Am I right?
Yeah, right.
If it was so,
Hmm.
in this today's activity of Gita Pariwar, where are the Arjuns?
Yes.
That's my question, because what I am bothered about is what happened in Bangladesh. The ISKCON people who are following Gita were murdered out mercilessly. And if through this Pariwar, what are we doing to produce Arjuns?
You see, first thing I will tell you that Shri Krishna did not instigate Arjuna to fight. He wanted to perform his responsibility. War was thrusted on the Pandavas, and Arjuna had to stand up and fulfill his responsibility. Fighting is an outcome of that responsibility. Fighting was not the purpose, but standing up for responsibilities. Now, here in your case, what we are referring to Bangladesh events, where Hindus' temples have been burned and a lot of people have been killed also.
When ISKCON people have been completely.
ISKCON people particularly, yes, ISKCON were targeted because they have the
Yes.
temples there in Bangladesh, in Dhaka.
Yeah.
So they were targeted because they were primarily Hindus and they're preaching Hinduism and Lord Krishna. So these events do happen. In the case of Mahabharata, all these atrocities were happening day in and day out. That's why the war took place. All these things what we see around, all that lawlessness was there during that time also. And that's why the Mahabharata war broke. During that time, people all were busy in enjoying luxuries of life, unlawfulness of life, no characters, such kind of life they were living. And that's why Paramatma had to bring back the dharma on the right track. That's why he waged this war and he made Arjuna as a hero of Mahabharata war. It was for re-establishment of dharma. Yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. That time the dharma was under glani. Now, when such incidents are happening repeatedly, fortunately, we have a capable Prime Minister in India now. We have a capable Home Minister, and then we are safe in their hands. Things happening outside our country, unfortunately, they're not under our control. But none of such people can do anything in India. Anything happening in India, we have a firm hand to handle them. Some incidents, stray incidents may happen all over the world, but then okay, we can take some clandestine, some diplomatic efforts to solve those areas, but every event happening in the world, we cannot control. We cannot control everything in the world because there are some international laws that we have to follow. We cannot keep attacking every country around us. Things may happen in Nepal, things may happen in Sri Lanka, under the influence of China probably, or under the influence of Pakistan. In Bangladesh, everything happening under the influence of Pakistan and their terrorist groups. So Bangladesh was creation of India, but even then they are not thankful to India. They are still going with their religion only, not going with their the people who have brought them freedom. India brought them freedom, no? So they should be thankful to India. But okay, the less said about Islam, the better it is.
And that's what I wanted to say here.
Yeah.
At least there should have been some resistance from somewhere. I mean, when we are sharing the teachings of Gita, and it does give that, but people have to be prepared to face those consequences.
Yes. That what you say is right. It's a very painful situation, but a time will come when all these things will take proper route and proper direction.
Well,
They will
let's
get
hope
right.
so.
Let us hope so. Yeah.
Let's hope. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sai Sarat ji, please unmute yourself. The message is there on your screen to get unmute. Just click on the unmute button, Bhaiya. Are you able to hear me? Sai Sarat ji. Bhaiya, you raised your hand. Please unmute. I think my voice is not audible to him.
नहीं दीदी ऑडिबल है.
नहीं, उनको ऑडिबल नहीं लग रहा है, मतलब शायद ही इज हैविंग सम ऑडियो इश्यू.
ठीक है, एनीबॉडी एल्स इज देयर?
क्या करूँ दीदी, रिमूव करूँ क्या?
हाँ, रिमूव, प्लीज रिमूव हिम बिकॉज ही इज नॉट एबल टू हियर मी. भैया एक मिनट ट्राई करती हूँ. भैया जी, भैया अनम्यूट योर सेल्फ. साई सरत जी, he is not able to hear me. दीदी वो नहीं सुन पा रहे हैं. Should we move ahead now? Thank you so much, Bhaiya, for such a nice explanation with practical examples. And you have answered almost all the questions with practical solutions. Thank you so much. Thank you all the sadhak who joined
थैंक यू पूजा जी.
from Zoom and YouTube platform. Thank you, our technical assistant team, our backend team, for your kind support. Now we will go to our prayer. Bhaiya, one hand. Okay, down. Now I would like to call for prayer Bhargavi Priya KG from she joined Geeta Pariwar in 2025 and currently she is giving seva as a technical assistant, group coordinator, and she completed her Jignasu exam also. Welcome, Didi.
जय श्री कृष्ण सभी को. योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. जय श्री कृष्ण.
Tomorrow we have Safala Ekadashi and there is Sampurna Parayan is there. So kindly join this Parayan. We will move for the Hanuman Chalisa.
गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरन रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार. जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीनी बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही समभाई सहस बदन तुम रोज सगावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर पल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय.
Tomorrow morning at 6:30 we will meet again. Till then, I Dr. Pooja Sharma